Good morning, everybody, and this is your DAX day trade setups for today. So I know a lot of you commented on a profitable day yesterday. Well done. It was a pretty decent setup for the shorts. What we do have here, though, is we've got the flag break, and we've got the flag retest as well. Only problem I have with the retest is that it is an inside bar, and if it does start breaking above the high of that bar, which we'll get to on the lower time frames, then I would expect a bigger move to the upside again. So right now, on the bigger picture, the high of this week so far, which is 13436, that is the top of a double bottom. So if we get above that, find support, then I'd expect a move higher based on the height of this double bottom. The other area to pay attention to at this moment in time is the swing low of last week. So that if that starts giving way, then it should open up the move to the downside. But as I've said before, there is a lot going on here. You can see this area here on the weekly is a lot of support at 12,936. So it's going to take a lot to get through there. And your next logical area would be roughly around here at 12,634. Okay, oscillators are not giving us any indication on the weekly, but you can see we've had sort of 3 red weeks, and we're busy with the 4th one right now. And there is still a gap open a little bit lower. Get that in as well. Down here, you can see we've touched it before. We haven't closed it on the weekly, so from a weekly perspective, that gap is open. That's 12,486. So let's just get back down to levels we're looking to trade. So on the 3 hour, there's our range. We came back up. We almost rejected this 13,220 area, which is what we were looking for, and then sort of rolled over. So at the moment we are sideways, but we are sideways in a downward trend. So I would favor another move to the downside. But as I said, this level here is really strong. It's a weekly level, and that is 12,936. If we do break through that and we need to come back and reject it properly before taking that trade, then you opens up these two bottom levels here at 12,634 and 12,486. But for today, get down to the lower time frames, and you can see the break of that flag. We continued down in a downward trend, came back down. We bounced off nothing. To be honest, there's no real structure here that we bounced off. Moved back up, and now we sort of rejecting the moving averages at the moment. So it could be a flag forming. That's the first thing that you need to understand. It could very well be a flag forming, and if I do that, you'll see there is your structure at the moment. So with that view, if we start breaking above the highs of today so far, I'm going to make the chart really messy now, but if we start breaking above this area here, which is 13,150, I want to see a retest, and then there's a potential move to the upside. That move would be equal to yesterday's first move up, which is there. Take it from the bottom, from wherever the low is, and that takes you up to here. If you look to the left, you will see there is a level there. So there was resistance, there's support on that level, then we broke through. We haven't come back to test it. Look further back, you'll see a little bit of interaction in that zone as well. So that would be the first potential. I just want to delete that. So that's our first potential, right? And I just want to delete that. Then the next move would be a rejection of this area again, which would be 13,150, which would then trigger a move to the downside. There is a bit of a trend line here as well, which is there. So a rejection of that area could also, sort of this trend line could also trigger a move to the downside. But I think for the downside move, what you're looking for is the current low of the day. If you look to the left, look at the area of support here, and we found support here. So break below that, would give us a move to the downside. So what I'm going to do here is just tidy some of this up. Then we'll get down to 15 minutes and we will trade that. Okay. Right. So basically what we're looking at here is the current high of the day and the current low of the day. So that is the area we're looking at. You can see it's already been a big up and down day. So it is arranging at the moment. So I suspect that is what we need to pay attention to. Look at what happened yesterday. Continue to reject the 15-minute 155. We've got a moving average crossover. We're busy with a rejection here. We've got diversions for a move back to the upside. So I would expect us to look for some kind of structure in the middle here. Now, from a 15-minute perspective, that there is the closest bit of structure we have if you look to the left. So, wait for the market open. We're looking at 13,100. If that cannot hold, then we are looking for a move to the downside. Break this level here, 13,037 to the downside, then what I would expect is this range to play out. So that would move there. And that's the target, but I would be more comfortable again getting out here at 12,970. Start moving this to the upside. Then this area here, put both levels in, would be my opportunity to get out and take profit. So that's 13,225 and 13,260. To the downside, your targets would be 12,970 and 12,920. So I suspect we're probably going to range still today. And you can't anticipate a break to the downside here. It would be foolish. So from higher up, a move back down to this level at 12,970 is there's nothing wrong with that. But just bear in mind, if you get onto the weekly, you're going to see a massive area of support here, and you see that with all the levels we've drawn in now. Look what happened here. So it's going to take a lot of effort to get through this. I think if it does get through, there's a pretty big move to that gap that would materialize. But until that happens, this thing, you need to trade it very carefully. Okay, so that's kind of my setup for today. It's going to be another scalping day, to be honest. What you're looking for is a rejection of decent levels, and then you're looking to get out at the next level. You're not looking to hold this longer than a couple of minutes, possibly, on each trade. And moves from the bottom, you'd be on the same situation. So if you start seeing this kind of price action here off a level, big weekly level, then you're looking for a break of structure and a move to the upside. You probably even go down to the 5-minute for that to pick that up. In fact, if we just close off on the 5-minute, you'll see what I'm talking about. So we had, let me just get rid of all these levels. So if you look at when we did the video, we were in a downward trend already. So what you're waiting for is structure. Just look to the left on the 5-minute, put your levels in. As soon as you saw the structure and the rejections, you would have been looking for the shorts. There was a gap warning you that it would come back to that, so it dropped, came back to that gap. Sellers were waiting there. Look there. Sellers were waiting right there at the gap and the structure here. Drive it down for another leg. And then we started moving to the upside. You can see here is a 1-bar, 2-bar pullback onto the 155. Not quite a level, but just a moving average. And you can see pull back onto that rally and then sort of bouncing around. Really difficult trading session during the European session. During the US session. So you can possibly just start looking at the same kind of setup. So look for your structure on the 5 minutes and pay attention to them. So there's already an inside bar here, looking for a second move or a second pattern in this area. As soon as that happens, you're looking for a move down. You've got a gap to the downside. You've got a gap here, which is busy forming. Still a few minutes to go in the bar. But again, this is an area you need to pay attention to. You're looking for a rejection here at the moment. So That's the way I would trade this. Bear in mind you're going to be range bound, so you're not going to get anything on the higher time frames. You drop down to lower time frames, but that means you need to sit in front of the charts and you can't do anything else, which is not what I have time for or want to do. Okay, anyway, that's for me this morning. Hope it helps, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.